So we all know that data is very valuable, right? But it needs to be refined and analyzed to unleash its true potentials, right? And today we are going to discuss about how to get into this space in 2023. A little bit about myself. I am Mohammad Arshad. I have 17 plus years of experience in the data science field. I have worked in big corporates like Majid Al Futtaim in Dubai, Accenture, Hewlett Packard, Dell, and I have helped 500 plus mentees to get their dream data jobs. And since the last 6 months, I have started my own company, Decoding Data Science, that is into mentorship and consulting. Right. Today, I'm going to quickly talk about the main steps and the frameworks to get a job. What are the options, the paths, how to learn, and how to have a optimized way of retaining the learnings that you are having and applying them, and finally getting the job, which is the main motive of this particular webinar. Right. So before I talk about it, I believe in simplifying things. And to get a job, specifically in 2023, the first thing is you have to have this framework in mind. This is a framework that I have developed called FRAC, FAFRAC. These are the four building blocks for you to land your dream job, data job in 2023. The first one is a strong foundation of basics, right? This strong foundations is going to lead you to have a confidence before you start doing anything. This is the first pillar, which we will talk more in details. Second one is a good resume. The R stands for a good resume, online presence, and a portfolio. This is going to make sure that you are going to get shortlisted and you are going to apply, have a resume that at least can be considered for a data job. Right. The third pillar is applying the right way. Right. This is also very important. After the two foundations, that you have, the good resume that you have, still you have to apply the right way, because there is a lot of competition, and for one particular job there are more than 300 to 400 people who apply. So applying the right way is also very important. And then the final one is clearing. Right. After you get all these three things fixed, right, you are called for the interview. Right. The first step is that you will be getting an assessment. You have to clear the assessment of the programming languages, and then the final interview. Right. The interview is basically how you are going to use all the skills that you have learned, right, and the confidence part, how you are going to deliver it that 1 hour. Right. And to be honest, the first 5 minutes of your interview is going to decide whether the interviewer is interested in you or not. So the confidence and the way you start your interview and the is very important, and this is the final step for you to land your dream job. Right. So this is the framework that you need to remember. Right. For this you need to work really hard. Strong foundation of the basics, because in any interview they are going to ask you questions that are the foundations, right? Like SQL, Python, basic maths and stats. And if you are not able to answer the basic questions, the initial questions, then they are not going to ask you any other questions that are a little bit intermediate or advanced. And then they are not going to even consider you, right? They'll do a formal interview, continue for half an hour, and then you will not get any reply. You're just you can say rejected, and they will not even give you an update. Like you can say ghosted. Right. So this is very important. Resume that I mentioned. Resume is first 5 seconds, because I have seen more than 1,000 plus resumes and taken so many interviews. Right. So I and talked to industry experts before I designed all these programs and frameworks. Right. They have only 5 seconds to see the resume, and if in that particular time, if they like your resume, then only they will read further. So I have talked about all these steps in my previous webinars as well, but in a brief summary, your resume should be short, crisp, and customized to the job description that you are applying for. After that particular stage, they may also search you on LinkedIn, right? They may check your portfolio in GitHub, whatever you have submitted. So having a good online presence, specifically LinkedIn, is also very helpful for you to get shortlisted. Now, applying the right way, right? This particular thing is very important. If you just apply with a general resume to all the openings, there is a fair chance that you're going to get called. You have to customize it and you have to apply. And the best way to apply is, in brief, if I can tell you, is on LinkedIn, add people from that the companies you have, right? Suppose you are applying, you have a shortlisted 50 companies to apply in your area. Add all the recruiters and some managers of that company who are in that particular field, right? You can uh, give a connection invite, you can talk to them, you can add them, and then when there is an opening in that company, ask that particular person to refer you. And that is the way in which you will apply. And as you know, referrals work much better than just applying on a company portal or through LinkedIn Easy Apply, right? And then the final stage, after you are applied, after you get shortlisted, after you get called for the interview, this particular step is you have to have the confidence and you have to be good at least in the basics and clear. Try to give an impression. If they ask you any advanced questions, you can always tell that I don't recall right now and I will get back. But this, there is no compromise on basic questions you have to know, right? So now about the options, like these things I have talked in detail, but mainly there are three options that are there in the data science field, right? Engineering, analyst, and data scientist. For people who want to enter the field, I suggest them to start with data analyst. I have talked in my previous webinars about the differences, the pros and cons, but for people who want to start, data analyst is a good way to enter the field, right? And when you are entering as a data analyst, there are few skills that are required, but it is less compared to data engineering and statisticians, right? Now, the data scientist part. So in this case, right, in this case, what I suggest is this particular scenario, right? The data analyst path, you can as a if you are a junior, you will enter as a junior data analyst or business analyst. Even if you are experienced, this is the way you want to enter the industry, and then you are going to grow as a lead business analyst and an analytics manager, right? This is the thing that you grow. But it is, you can also, if you are a good in programming, you can always shift to become a lead data engineer, and you can always shift after few years. If you prove yourself as a good data analyst, you can always learn little bit extra machine learning, deep learning, and also go to this lead data scientist. So but the entry, this is the best way to enter, because here what happens that there is not so much programming skills, not so much statistical skills that are required. But once you go here, you have a good you can say confidence and experience, and you have proved yourself as a good data analyst, then it is very easy for you to move the ladder, right? So when I entered the industry, I entered as a basic data analyst. I worked as a data analyst for around 4 to 5 years, and then I learned machine learning, deep learning, and I moved towards becoming a lead, to becoming a junior data scientist. To be, because then I grew up the ladder, and then I went to become a lead data scientist, and I just left my company previously as a principal data scientist, right? So I grew up the ladder, and that is how you have to do. This is a long journey. You have to make a big plan, and you have to know that it is step by step. You have to prove yourself, and the basic of everything that is here is data, right? So even if you are a data scientist, principal data scientist, you will be first looking at a general data that is there, right? You will be looking at rows of data, and you have to understand those skills that are there are going to always stay in a particular whatever seniority you are at. So the skills are really transferable in all the data science career paths. So now quickly I will tell you, for becoming a good data analyst, these are the main things that you have to be very good at, right? Excel, Power BI, I focus on Power BI more than any other tool because of the importance and the growth of Power BI. I have talked about this in my previous webinars as well. SQL is very important, right? SQL, people ask me why SQL is, because SQL is a place where you are going to get exposed to structured data, right? When you start your career, you are mostly going to work with structured data. There you are going to learn how to build logics, how to connect different tables, how to summarize tables, right? Those logics that you are going to learn in SQL is going to be used even in Python, right? The joins that you do, the summarization that you do, these things you have to first learn and become master in SQL, and then take that learning. And as well as when you're doing Python coding, also you have to get that knowledge, because the logic is one thing, right? Logic is one thing, and syntax and coding is separate thing. To get a good understanding of the logic of data, you have to be good in SQL, because SQL teaches you how you are linking different tables, how you are doing different joins, and everything. Python, as you know, it is there is very much used in data science for all the EDAs, missing value treatments, and all the feature engineering. Statistics for data analyst is very much different from the statistics of machine learning and deep learning. Statistics for data analyst is basic statistics that is used for data analysis, EDAs, that you should be good at. And later on, statistics and advanced maths for machine learning will be done later on when you are trying to move into data scientist, right? But basic statistics and maths is very important. These 5 skills are, you have to master. When I say master, because the interviews will ask you these questions, and you cannot say I don't know if they ask you any question in SQL or Python, right? You have to have at least an idea. Right, these are the basic concepts. And you have to give good time in this, and you have to master these topics. At least you should know good enough to answer any basic interview questions. After having these 5 skills, mastering these 5 skills, you have to apply these skills in building a capstone project. Now many of my mentees and many of the people I take interview, they do projects from Kaggle. They do basic sample data projects that are there. That is, data is available, they just take the data and just it clean. And basically the data also they take is clean data. They don't do any real time type of work, and then they present it. So that is a big no no. If you have to do a, when you say a capstone project, the project should be little bit unique to you. The data has to be coming from some different sources, not from Kaggle. It can be survey data, it can be climate data, whatever it is, but not directly from Kaggle. And it should be something unique, something that you are passionate about when you are explaining to the interviewer. So those are the things that you have to see. And don't make projects on Titanic data set, Iris data set, and these basic data sets that are available, because many people do that, right? Their first project, they make it and put it on their resume. Those are not at all appreciated, right? A good project is also very important to put it in your resume. And the last part and the 7th part is the profile and your interview, right? Having a good profile. These 2 things that I told you in the FRAC framework, right? These 3 things are coming. RAC, good resume, applying the right way, and clearing the assessment is coming in this part. So this is a very important part. But this is going to come after you finish all these 6 things, right? After you have a good project, then only you can put it in your portfolio, right? And when you are doing all this process of learning data science, start putting these thoughts in a summarized way in LinkedIn, right? This is going to make your online presence shown that this person is a data not an enthusiast, data person, right? He is interested in data and he understands and data. So that is also very important for you as well, because many of the recruiters will reach out to you directly if you have a good online presence, right? So these are the things that are there. Now the basically tools and techniques that you need, right? All these things are required. these can be tools and this can be technologies, whatever it is. So everything is there, but some extra things that uh, are here is the cloud platforms, like basic understanding of cloud platforms. Tableau, I have mentioned, but this is not a mandatory. But if you are applying and you are really seeing that the job descriptions has Tableau, so you can spend some time and also learn Tableau, right? But you have to master Power BI and you should know a little bit of Tableau, because both are linked to each other, but you can really learn it easily when you know Power BI well. Storytelling is a very important piece, because you as a data analyst are expected to tell the story of whatever you are doing, whatever analysis you are doing, whatever outputs you are doing, and all those things, right? And then these are the soft skills that are there. So soft skills are very basic, right? These things are really required, and these things are comes to when comes to check, right, when you are doing this particular thing, right, in your resume, in your applying way, in your assessment, how you are doing the interview, these soft skills are tested in that way, right? The interviewer will try to check your curiosity. He'll try to check how you are communicating, how you are doing a case study if they ask you some questions, and all those things that are there. So these things are also very important. When you are preparing for your data science journey, keep soft skills also in mind, because to be honest, these skills are a little bit important. uh, Technology will change a little bit, but these skills, right, how you communicate, how you approach a problem, these skills are very tough to learn. So try to incorporate this from initial time. When you are preparing for your projects, when you are learning, try to have these things from the start. That's why I mentioned, whatever you learn, try to put it on LinkedIn. Try to communicate. Written communication is also very important, how you summarize your learnings in a understandable posts. And this is going to help you also in remembering those concepts. Like suppose you learned about joints, right? What is the difference between left joint and inner joint? So you can talk about it, you can write a post about it on LinkedIn. This will also make sure that you will remember that topic if you write it by yourself, right? And then the final thing, it's already a mix of what I have discussed before. These are the things that are really important. Uh, it's a recap of that FRAC framework, but a resume, good online presence, portfolio, a very good capstone project, right? Because this is going to go in your resume. Now, okay, one thing I want to say, many of you will not have any data science experience, right? Maybe some of you will be a fresher, or maybe working in some other domain. You ask me, companies how ask for experience. That's why I always stress the importance of capstone project, because a capstone project is like an internship, right? So to be honest, all my mentees that come to me, who do study and do project under me, what I do is I give them an internship, right? They put an internship under my company name, Decoding Data Science, and they mention an internship for 3 months, and they put their project, right? It can be anything, like it can be stock market analysis. So they will put it as an internship under my company name, and they can put in their resume, right? This is an internship, decoding data science. This is a project, and a detailed project, right? This is it includes some data engineering work as well, data gathering work, so all the data cleaning part, all the steps of a project. I've also discussed in my previous webinars what are the steps of a good project, decoding a good project, what are the main steps that are there in a project. So you have to tick all the big boxes, put it as an internship. So I encourage my mentees to put it under my company only, and because it is a registered company in Dubai, and it is known for consulting and for this thing academy. And after all this, that particular thing is asked about in interview, right? Suppose you have worked in a project very closely for 2 months, 3 months, The interviewer will ask you from where did you get the data, from how did you clean the data. You have worked in that particular project with guidance from a mentor. You will be able to answer the important questions that can arise by the interviewer. So the conversion rate of such candidates, right, who are under my institute, the chances are very much high to get converted. At least they know what they are saying. Okay, so this is very important part, which is a basically a byproduct of all the learnings that you do and all the mentorship and that you guidance that you get. And the second, this is a part where I suggest people how they retain, right? This part where I was suggesting how to learn. So learning process is, first of all, this is very important, the why part, right? For my in my motto and my belief for all the people who come to me is you should have a goal, that why are you doing this. The goal should be that I want to get into data science in 3 months or 6 months. Between 3 to 6 months you should have a goal. This should be in your mind, right? This is very important, why you are doing this. If you are just doing it for learning, just upskilling yourself, then this is not the right place for you, right? Then you will not go anywhere in within even if in 2 years or 3 years. You should have a specific goal. Then the collection part I have already done, right? In my 17 years of experience and teaching more than 1,000 people, I have all the materials that are really important and uh, used in the jobs and in the interviews that are tested is already there with me, and it is there on my academy, right? This collection part is the most, it's an important part. The internet is full of a lot of things that are there, but concentrating on the important things, right, collecting the important things and keeping it in a place for you guys to have a quick reference for the most important things that are there, that is done. Second is those the important part that is there, right? Suppose for every module there are 5 to 6 hours. That 5 to 6 hours you have to absorb, you have to learn it, you have to, everything that is there, should know it by heart, right? You should know why we are doing the particular steps, why we are doing a left join, why we are not doing a full join, and all those things. You should understand it, you should know it. Then you should practice it. You should practice it and retain and document, right? This is basically, that's the, I told you to share your learnings. All my mentees share their learnings on LinkedIn, because that is also what I suggest them to do, to grow on LinkedIn also, because your journey starts now itself. Applying it is in the part of the project that you are doing. Whatever you are learning, try to apply it in, try to put it in a project, and then show your work is the last part. That is having a good portfolio, having a good GitHub page where you show your projects, whatever you have done, whatever dashboards you have built, whatever projects that you have done, whatever documentation you have done, right? And one thing is very important, one bonus tip that I tell all my mentees, and you may agree with it or not, I don't, but I will just give it. Create a handy code yourself, right? And whenever you are doing coding in SQL and Python for the initial 3 to 6 months till you are landing your first job, try to do the coding yourself, right? Don't copy paste from anywhere. Even if you have code from somewhere, don't copy paste it. Try to type in the code yourself. Every syntax that you're typing in SQL, don't copy paste at least for 6 months, because once you type in, you will remember. And create a very good handy code that contains all the Python steps that are there, like for list, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions, everything that is there. Create a handy code by yourself. And to be honest, I force all my mentees to make a handy code, and I make sure I, before they graduate, to complete it and show me, and to get a, because that handy code is going to be used by them uh, till they remain in the data career, right? To be honest, I still refer to my handy code even now for any data Python code that is there. I don't Google, I don't use Chat GPT. I use my handy code because I have written it and I know exactly what works, and I don't need to get lost in the Google, right? I don't want to get lost in Stack Overflow. I will use my handy code for Python and SQL. This makes you a good programmer. So this is one tip I really force my students, because nowadays you guys believe that there is Chat GPT, there is Google. Why should I remember all the syntaxes that is there, right? That is there, but you have, when you are learning, you have to know the syntaxes by heart, because when you are working in a real time world, right, there are deadlines, there are, is the pressure is there to you, that you have to deliver it in few hours. And then you if you don't know the code, if you are just copy pasting, if a small mistake happens, then it is going to hamper your career, right? So these are the things that you have to keep in mind, because these things are built as a foundation. Once you are good, once you are comfortable in 1 or 2 years in these two languages, then you may, it is up to you. But to be honest, still as a good programmer, I use my own handy codes, and I don't try do Google much, because this also builds my self confidence. And suppose there is something new, some new functions come, some new syntaxes come, I will add it to my handy code. Even now I keep updating my handy code on a regular basis, if I get something new and some better way of doing a particular logic. So this is the thing that I want to the bonus tip that I want to give. Now just I want to summarize before I open the floor for questions, is if one simple key takeaway you have for this particular webinar is how to get a job in the data universe, is in specifically in this DNA, this particular time, is your this particular framework, FRAC framework. And it is very important because many of you who I meet, who I talk to, they have a good they have a strong foundation, resume it's okay, but they are still not able to get a job because they are not applying properly, and they don't have the confidence, they are not being visible, and they are not translating their learnings by using an internship or using a because nowadays you have to have something in your resume, to be honest, to get shortlisted. So one truth that I want to share with you as an industry leader is, companies don't want to hire a person and train them. They want to see that a person who is joining in has the foundation, has the basic understanding, and has done some projects in the data world in on which they can build. No one wants to hire a person who does not know these things, right? Because many of the companies, they don't have a training academy inside the company, right? There are still companies, if you are passing out from a prestigious institute and you get hired in Mu Sigma, Infosys, or TCS, and you are selecting that analytics domain, then you may get trained in that company. But those are for freshers and from who have passed out engineering from a college and who has placements, right? So for them there is proper trainings. They don't expect for them to know all these things. But as a lateral joinee, or who is joining in the open industry, these things are important, right? So that is so this thing you keep in mind. Now before I start the question and answer, I just want to say that these things are very important, that you have to have a 3 to 6 months time horizon, and you have to build your foundations and your online presence together. For few months do it, and then you will see the difference. Once you have little bit confidence, little bit good hold on your things, and then you can start doing practice assessments and give some mock interviews and be ready to start applying, right? And most of you have come through me through LinkedIn, right? I have just started a YouTube channel as well. All the webinars that I do, this is informative sessions. They are uploaded in this particular YouTube, as well as in the webinar series on my website, right? And for the people who are really interested to make their foundation strong and do an internship under me, their capstone project under my company banner based out of Dubai, they can also get in touch with me. They can get the whole course, and they can talk to me later on. Most of you are already connected on LinkedIn and have come through TopMate, so you know where to get in touch with me, right? So now I will quickly go to the question section and see if there are any questions. So whoever are still there on the call, let me know if you have any questions that I can take, any specific questions that you want me to take, so that it is going to help you in your journey. Yes, age is not a factor, Babu. Age is not a factor. Some of my mentees are even 40 plus, right? They had worked in different industries, and they learned the basics that are here, right? Then they got a job as a data analyst, not in a big company, but in a startup or a SMB company, and they are happy now. They joined as a senior data analyst, and now they are into data analytics manager. So age is not a factor, because there is lot of demand for this industry. Now, to answer Babu, you have worked, I'm sure you have worked for few years and you will have domain knowledge, right? So you can add some experience of data, right? So one thing I forgot to tell you guys, when I mentor people, when I mentor people in the profile in interview section, right, for people who have more than 5 to 7 years experience, what I do is I try to add some analytics capabilities from their work. Like anyone who has done any job, right, they will have some data related work. So you can add, like, that you have built a dashboard or you have done some data analysis. So you can position your resume with little bit of data science experience, and you can counter it with the foundations that you have done from the academy, from the learnings that you have done. You can talk about it, right? So you Babu, you can position yourself as a senior data analyst with showing some experience that you have done little bit of data work, and that is going to help you, and surely you can get something. Yes, so you can talk about that. You can talk about your college project development. You can talk about a lot of data, the work that you have done, and you can surely do it. So age is not a factor. You can learn, and you can start building a good project, right? You can so you I'm sure you will be uh, having access to a lot of data because you're doing some projects. So you can think about applying your learnings that you do from the academy and build a good project, put it in your resume, put it as an internship from decoding data science, and you can apply. Surely you will be getting a lot of calls within 6 months, right? Chandan, you have any questions? People who are there on the call, do let me know if you have any questions, or we can just end the call if we don't have any questions. The recordings will be available in the portal, right? So I will quickly show you guys about the portal that is there. So most of you are aware. I will put it on the chat as well. This is the academy decoding data science website, right? One more thing is that I want to tell you guys is I have started, uh, I have a self-paced course with one-to-one mentorship for people who are interested. And also I have started live batches, like live SQL batch is starting from 18th February. And I have kept a very nominal price because to help students. So this is for live. This is going to be self-paced plus live sessions, and it is going to be with the doubt clearing. So this is there. And then we have the webinars that I told you is here. Get your first data science job series. You can go here, you can watch. So there are 6+ webinars and some interviews that are here, right? It is going to be available here, and you can have a look at these webinars. This is going to give you a very good idea about the data science environment, right? And it is going to help you make a informed decision. And one more, this I put the link on the chat. And one more thing, guys, is I am also available in different platforms, right? So you can see I am available on uh, LinkedIn is always there, Facebook. I have a Facebook company page, Instagram page, TikTok page, and a YouTube channel where I put all the videos. So and the important highlights of my company is also here. So that also I'm putting the link here. Both the links are here. And any before I end, is there any other questions? If not any questions, whoever are in the call, one request is, you will be getting a testimonial link. If you want me to continue such sessions later on, please do give a positive feedback. And thank you for joining, and have a great day. Bye bye.